Alright guys, today we're going to look at the Mr. Ranch Hitchhiker. This is kind of a neat product. There's actually a fair amount of coverage on Mr. Ranch's YouTube channel. I don't know, maybe I've been living under a rock, somehow I missed that, but there's a bunch of content from like 4 years ago that explains most of their packs. So that's a good resource. But I'm going to show how this thing integrates with non-Mr. Ranch packs, and then some of the other ones that they offer that it's not supposed to integrate with. So Mr. Ranch Hitchhiker, I believe it's about the size of a ASAP or their one-day assault pack. It's not small by any stretch. I believe it was 17 liters. And then just for a quick reference, inside there right now I have 3 full sets of ABUs and a thermal top. So it's got a good capacity to it. And that's not rolled or anything, that's just kind of thrown in there haphazardly. So looking at this thing from the outside, you've got some compression straps on the front. I wish this one was up higher or that it didn't exist at all. It's pretty useless down there, but you can see it's there where it's at because it just falls in line with how this thing ties into other packs. So you can't really hold that against Mr. Ranch. They could have just, negated that one altogether though. It's a tri-zip design, just like a lot of their packs. You've got some loop field up here on the top. Looking at the lid, you have a very spacious pocket, but it's just the one big pocket like on the Urban Assault. I'm not going to call these a pack frame or frame sheet because it's really not, but it has some very reinforced ribs on the outer edges here, and that helps when you're tying that to the parent pack because it kind of pulls uniformly against the entire length of the pack, as opposed to if you're just using the 2 straps, there might be a little bit more play there. One of the coolest features of this, if you're looking at it as like a giant pouch to go on the top of your ruck, is that it comes with its own straps that tuck in really cleanly. Right, they did that really well, just like on the HebGen, if you remember that video. And they're decent straps. All right, they've got some spacer mesh in them. They've got a little bit of a daisy chain there, so you can move your sternum strap up and down. You can lash something to it if you need to. And with the ribs on the outside here, it actually carries surprisingly well. Like, it's not constantly, trying to taco itself if you've got some sort of an odd shaped load in there. And obviously there's one on the other side, so that's pretty well done. I'm actually really impressed with that. And it gives you a lot of flexibility in how you use this thing, which hopefully when I show you the different packs that it can integrate with, that makes a little bit more sense. Some other stuff going on here. You've got a couple lashing points, if you want to call them that, towards the top of the lid. They're more just, areas to hold while you're working the zipper, but they're there. You've got a decent carry handle there. There is no padding on the back face though, so just be aware of that. And then when you open this thing up, this really only matters if you've never seen a Mr. Ranch pack before. But you've got some good overlap there, and then it opens all the way down to the bottom. There's nothing going on inside this thing at all. It's just one big giant pocket. So if you're, contemplating using it for tools or bulky items, heavier items, just keep that in mind. You might need to incorporate some sort of organization of your own. And then the last little bit here, if you're getting this to not work with one of the packs that Mr. Ranch lists it as compatible with, go ahead, save yourself a headache, and set up a piggyback kit here with an assortment of spare buckles that you're not going to need anywhere else, because a lot of the packs that this can integrate with, it's not going to do it out of the box. So you're going to need an assortment of hardware to have ready so that you're not buying onesie-twosie buckles. All right. With that said, I'm going to go load up another ruck and we'll tie this thing onto something. All right, so first example here, this is how it's intended to be integrated. However, this is not with a pack that it was intended to be integrated with. All right, so your nice frame on the packs that Mr. Ranch advertises this is compatible with will have spare side release buckles on the frame. And all you do to integrate this thing, put it on top, pull these compression straps around, and plug them into those side release buckles. And then Mr. Ranch comes with those sweet kind of ratcheting side release buckles, so you just take all the slack out and you're not going to have any play in this thing. And then these top straps can compress your Hitchhiker. Now I don't know which parent pack this is, and I apologize. I just carry the thing, but I lose track of Mr. Ranch models, and this might be the Overload. I don't know. It's a little bit bigger than the 3-day, but it's not their full-blown biggest pack that they offer. So yeah, with this one not being intended to be used this way, the cost, and it might be rather small because you're using the Hitchhiker as a compression strap anyways, is that you can't use the compression straps on the parent pack the way they were supposed to be used. Now that's not a showstopper by any stretch, and there's a way around that, so I'll show you that real quick. Alright, so first step in integrating this with packs it wasn't designed for. So you can see I've got the parent pack compression strap run where it was supposed to go, and then I just added a repair buckle close to that for the Hitchhiker compression strap. Now, in retrospect, move this a little bit further out so your buckles aren't riding on top of each other, and that wouldn't really cost you any stability. But it is something to be aware of. I could have gone one more row higher, and if anything, it would have just lifted the Hitchhiker up a little bit more. And then on the bottom, for whatever reason, on this parent pack, it doesn't have a bottom compression strap, so that was legitimately a leftover buckle. Alright, so that is how you integrate it with a Mr. Ranch pack that it wasn't necessarily advertised for. And obviously the bottom, you could have just thrown another side release buckle on it, and it would have been fine. This same approach works for a lot of the Kifaru packs. So like I have a Zulu that's covered in moly. Alright, this thing fits perfect on there, and it works really well. What I like about that is the Zulu is inherently a top loader, and then you've got the tri-zip on the Hitchhiker, so you've got a lot of flexibility in how you're loading that thing. Whereas with the Mr. Ranch host packs mostly being tri-zip, to really get into them you need to completely remove the Hitchhiker. Alright, but I got one more concept that I want to show you guys, and this one's pretty slick. Alright, so what we're looking at now is the High Ground Gear Alice modular panel. Okay. This is just a sleeve that fits over an Alice frame that makes it a full moly panel. Attached to that I have their side accessory pockets. These are basically wings that wrap around whatever's on that panel. Kind of made to go in tandem, you don't have to use one with the other, but that's how I have it set up. And then I've got that side accessory pouch going around my Hitchhiker. So, you open up the side accessory pouch. Now granted I don't have these fully threaded in there because I need to take this inside pouch off to do it, but I can show you guys the intent. Using the moly of the panel, I've got these side release buckles set up basically underneath this inside pouch, and the Hitchhiker is attached to that. Okay, so it's sustainment gear and all that, your warm layers, your sleeping setup can go in the Hitchhiker, and then when you pop those side release buckles there, you've now removed all of your sustainment gear. The only residual component of that is those 4 repair buckles, and then whatever your mission gear that you needed this back panel for is still there, and you can still close up these side accessory pouches real easily and you've got a nice streamlined package for whatever you're working on. All right. If anybody's curious, this inside pouch, this is the TMK back panel from ATS. This thing's probably like a decade old now. It's a pretty neat medical panel. It holds tools and stuff. But this was just an example I thought of when I threw together to show you guys that you can make these load panels work for you a little bit better, possibly with the addition of the Hitchhiker, being that you can have all of your work stuff, the heavy bulky items, close up against your back, and then throw your lighter bulkier items on top. Nice neat package, and that thing dumps real easy. Flip side, if you had base camp type stuff on the load panel, you can use the Hitchhiker as a day pack, because again, these straps are actually pretty solid for what it is. The same concept I did try on the Granite gear load panel, and I'll show you that real quick. Alright, so looking at this Granite gear load panel real quick, I think it's marketed towards mortar dudes. There's good coverage on this thing. If you're interested in it, check it out. I don't plan on doing a full review of it. It does have nice shoulder straps. It's really well padded. But the heart of this thing is it's just a load panel. Right? You can get this giant beaver tail for it, which gives you a couple different options on how you put the Hitchhiker on here. So again, we've got the high ground gear side accessory pockets on there. If you're using one of these things at all and you don't have those, you're probably wrong, unless you just absolutely don't need to carry anything at all. All right, and you want to do nothing but MOLLE pouches. Okay, so Hitchhiker can go pretty easily under your side accessory pouches, but as you saw with the other setup, if this thing's full, you're not going to get much in these because you just run out of straps. All right, so there might be a little back and forth there. I would recommend this going over top of that. All right, but with this Granite gear panel, you could do it underneath. You got plenty of MOLLE to put those repair buckles on. You could, in theory, do it on the inside of the beaver tail, and that would work all right. I don't know if I would call that ideal. Plus, you're kind of in the same setting where you've got that beaver tail completely maxed out. So what do you have in there? You can also do it on top of the beaver tail with your side accessory pouches closed up, your beaver tail being used, and you can run this over top. It's just, there's a lot of buckles going on here. There's 3 running up each side of the beaver tail, there's 2 at the top, and you have to find room for your side release buckles under those side pocket adapters, which is fine, it'll fit. You probably have to do those, kind of install them simultaneously so that you know where you want them, and they're easier to get to because they're not the easiest to pop on the webbing. What is cool though is the Granite gear uses this 3/4 inch MOLLE, so they're a little bit easier to thread on those side repair buckles if you forget and have to do it after the fact. And that setup, would look something like that. Obviously, you'd have something in the load panel. You need to be careful if you're using that in collaboration with this, though. You are pushing this pocket pretty far off your back if you have that load panel full. So it's not going to carry the same way a normal ruck would. There's no free lunch. But Mr. Ranch Hitchhiker, it's definitely a capability. It's got enough volume to hold what you need and then dump it when you don't. I think it's a cool product that has a lot of potential uses. You just got to kind of figure out what works for you. With respect to these load panels, I think this is a winner because you're not trying to find those huge MOLLE pockets to be able to hold your sustainment gear, and it's easy to dump when you don't need it. So, Mr. Ranch Hitchhiker, if you guys got any questions, I know I kind of breezed through this a little bit. Let me know, and I'm happy to see if it plug and plays with any other pack that I have. Thanks.